Hey everybody, it's Chris Campbell, Associate Content Manager with the Food Institute. You might recognize me from my voice on the Food Institute podcast, but here we are live on camera. And I have Mike McMahon, Director of Grocery with Bristol Farms with me today. How are you today, Mike?
Hey, I'm great, Chris. Thank you.
Well, really thankful that you're here to hang out with us for a little bit. I do want to talk first just about the buzz. If you're listening in, you probably hear all the noise going on around us. After a couple-year hiatus without Summer Fancy Food, what are your impressions so far coming into the show?
Well, today's the first day. I've just walked the 20 aisles so far, but you could definitely feel it as you were walking in. Yes, as you mentioned, it's been 3 years. I know the excitement's been building. I've got a lot of friends I haven't seen in a while, and so we're meeting up over the week here, and I can't wait. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Got to admit, I'm a Jersey boy. Didn't know too much about your grocery chain beforehand, so I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about Bristol Farms and what you guys do.
Well, we're a California-based upscale industry food market. We've been in business now. We're coming up on our 40th anniversary. We're going to celebrate that later on this year. Continue to grow. We've got some great growth plans, and we're pretty much considered the leader of specialty food in Southern California right now.
Well, congratulations on that 40 years. Definitely an accomplishment. I think you have an interesting perspective as a buyer. I think a lot of people that are presenting here or have a booth here, they're looking for a perspective like yours. So when you're walking the sales floor, or not the sales floor, but really walking the floor here, what are you looking for when you're looking for a company here?
Well, it's changed because as we've come out of the pandemic now, trends have changed quite a bit. There's a lot more home cooking going on now. The horrible pandemic as it was, it did benefit the grocery industry, which is no secret. So people are much more confident, I think, now with their cooking skills than they were, just 3 years ago. So now I'm looking for items that, people may not have tried before, but they can be, restaurant quality and, like a new flavor. A lot of ethnic sauces are out there right now. And, just myself doing more cooking at home, I've got a lot more confidence in my skills. So, as we start rolling out, we're doing more demonstrations in the stores now. And people are willing to try and be a little bit more, shall I say, they're confident in themselves and they'll give something a shot where maybe they wouldn't have in the past.
Yeah, and I think you're kind of seeing that on the floor today. You're seeing a lot more, live cooking demonstrations than you usually do at this show. And, always products out there that you can take home, but seeing people actually cook, kind of an interesting dynamic this year. Do you agree?
Yeah, completely. And like I said, I've only walked 20 aisles. And, for those that you don't know that, 20 aisles is really not very much. That's just the beginning stages here. And I have tried more individual demonstrations than I normally do because this is a long event, a long day, and you got to get through it, and you can't try everything. But, I'm a veteran of this, and I couldn't help myself in a lot of these cases. So a lot of good stuff.
Speaking about trends, what other kind of trends are you seeing today? Any kind of specific food types, cuisines from different countries, et cetera? What are you seeing so far?
Well, cuisines from different countries have been obviously in the forefront of the last couple of years. But I think right now, like I was mentioning earlier, people are just confident. They want to try. Instead of, restaurants really are starting to open up now, but even restaurant flow of traffic is considerably down, especially with inflation, the way it's hit the stores, it's also hit the restaurants. And so I think people now, when they go into a restaurant, they get an idea of something or they have it, but they're, not going there as frequent. So they'll try and do this at home. So I'm just trying to replicate restaurant style products and something that's simple enough for people to be able to make at home, and a lot of it is.
And I think another trend that at least I've seen so far, seems like diet is really coming to the forefront here, and that could be keto, it could be vegetarian, etc. What are you seeing on the floor so far when it comes to those kinds of trends?
Well, I think the American diet, there's definitely more emphasis on health than there has ever in my time that I've been in this industry. People are really concerned about the sugar content, the salt content, keto, vegan, very specific diets out there now. And I know people are aware of the ingredients. They have been for the last 10 years. It's been very important. And that's going to continue. And hopefully it does.
One last question I want to bring up here before we wrap it up. Just taking a look, I know you said beforehand you've been here for about 20 years. When you take a look at the evolution of the show, what do you think? What comes to mind when you take a look at those first shows compared to now?
Wow, that's a good question. Some of the faces have changed as I'm getting older now, getting through it. Some of the faces have changed for sure. But there seems to be a lot more emphasis on the American diet, and a lot of the importers that I'm finding are having specific items made for the U.S. market only. And so I thought that was interesting. There's some balsamic manufacturers that are cutting back sugar content by half, and they're pretty much making it a unique situation just for the United States, and we're eating more sensibly now, and that's kind of where the focus has been, where before it just had to taste good. Now the ingredients have to match that.
Awesome insight, Mike. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Oh, thanks, Chris.